Hello, Nebula. Oh, hi. Cooking a steak? Can I have one? You got 2 steaks? Holy crap. So one for me, and then the other one's also for me? Zamus, hello. Oh snap. Hello, Titan. Just chilling, waiting for the bot to ping the Discord. You know the drill. Holy Panda shirt, you know it. Can we get some emotes on Twitch? What emotes do you want on Twitch? I have to like manually add them. Actually, I think I'd have to check, but I think Twitch affiliates either can't do custom emotes, or it's like super duper limited. I'll have to look into that later though. Oh, we get a couple? Okay, yeah, just hit me up later and we'll see what can happen. I'm just gonna kind of chill for a few moments while we let people roll in and the bot pings the Discord. Prime E Proto, yes indeed. I should probably say it's a Proto. Alright. Overwatch is a 3.5 gig update? Wow, really? Did something like super major just change? It's been so long since I've done a build stream. It's been so long, man. Preloading the upcoming event. Oh, that makes sense. Is there an event or like Easter? Are they doing an Easter event? Hey, Europe. How you doing, man? The yearly story one? Gotta get back in the game. Yeah. I need like an Eye of the Tiger Rocky montage. Woo, Strim. Yeah, welcome guys. Welcome. It's like bot's gonna take a little while to ping Discord today. Pretty nice looking PCB. Look guys, the future. It's the future. Pre-band-aided? Yeah, so this has been built before. This is a prototype that I got from Prime Keyboards, Holton himself. And he had some... I don't know if these are band-aids or something else. It looks like it's something not band-aid, but to the same effect. Dampening pads, I guess, of some sort. But that's what it looks like. I'll probably just leave those on because it looks like they're already kind of adhered to the PCB, so I'm just going to leave those on. I don't really mind having those on at all. Looks like med tape. Could be. Kind of does. Is my autofocus even on? Pinged. All right. We'll give it another minute, then we'll officially start. Oh, a baby Alice? Yeah, it sort of is, honestly. My music stop? Evening, everyone. A baby Alice. That's practically what this is, actually. Is that Nautilus textured, like walkers? No, probably not. I got this kind of, this kind of little mini novelty, or not novelties, Nautilus key set. He sent it along with this, so I have a set that actually covers this layout, because I think this requires space bars that I don't have. Well, I'll have to look at the layout a little bit later, but I don't think any of the current sets that I have would have covered this, but I'm not 100% sure on that. Small Alice. It sure is. Band-Aid mod. Yeah, the PCB already has dampening pads on it from the owner, so I'm just gonna leave those on there. Voodoo 6K checking in. What's up, man? Red 5 standing by. Red October standing by. Clicky Clack, guess who's back? Yeah, it's been a while since I've done a build stream. And for that I am both sad and sorry. I do plan to do more, but I've had nothing to build. And I don't really just want to stream like desoldering boards and stuff, which is pretty much what I've been doing most of lately. But I definitely try to do things when I can. But you'll see more of me throughout the week. We're gonna start a third weekly Talk Clack stream in the very near future that I will be probably hosting almost or entirely myself. So kind of like how Jay and I do Talk Clack together on Thursdays. Jay has build streams on Sundays. I will be doing a third stream for the week myself, and then I'll also do build streams when I can as well. TMO50 gang here. I don't have mine within arm's reach. Happy to have you back. I am happy to be back. Thank you for that. This music makes it sound like you're breaking up with us. Well, sometimes you gotta do what you gotta do. How am I liking the Brutal 60? I don't have a Brutal 60. I wish I did. I believe Jay has one. This is the T60 by Noksherry. Not brutal. It might be the same color. This is the blue gray. Alright, looks like some people are starting to roll in here, so I guess I can slowly but surely officially start. Color threw you off? Yeah. Blue-gray is getting popular. That particular kind of style of blue is definitely getting more popular. What's up, Osiris? Good to see you, my friend. Hoping all of you are enjoying your Friday night. Top Clack DSA caps on the Rama M6. Oh yeah. Forgot I had this. These are DSA. I also have Cherry Profile, XDA Profile, and Topra. But these ones are indeed DSA. Excited to see the board put together? Me too. Speaking of, I guess I can kind of start here, do a little rundown, since it looks like we're gaining some momentum here viewer-wise. So I have here before me the Prime_E, Prime whatever you want to call it. This is a 45% custom keyboard that, as you can probably tell, is kind of like an ergo layout. It kind of takes a little bit of inspiration from the Alice, if I do say so myself. So this is going to be kind of an interesting build for me because A, I don't really use boards smaller than 60% almost ever, and B, I've never actually spent any real time with an ergonomic kind of board like the TGR Alice, like the Ergo Docs, like the Prime E. So this is going to be kind of interesting to me. Shoutouts to Holton over at Prime Keyboard for sending this over to me to check out and build up and do some typing sounds. So a little bit of disclaimer, I did not pay for this, but I also do not get to keep it. So this is a temporary kind of review unit, if you will, just so we're being transparent here and you guys know what's up. I have not really looked at this much before, but he hit me up and asked me if I wanted to check it out, and I said, sure, why not? I looked at the thread, it seemed like a pretty cool board. There is the link to the interest check if anyone is curious. It hasn't gone to group buy phase yet from what I have seen, so this is still just a prototype, making sure everything is going well and going fine before they actually launch the official group buy. It's a pretty interesting board though, so far. It feels pretty premium. The products are you know, all aluminum. They feel pretty decent. Anodization is pretty good from what I can see. I'm not an expert, but I don't really see any imperfections, which is pretty nice. Nice little angled bottom there. You know how I feel about angled bottoms. The top is a thick boy. Plate is integrated. 4.75 millimeter integrated aluminum plate. It is fixed layout. PCB is hot swap, QMK compatible, USB-C, and the person before me put some dampening material on for these stabilizers. I'm just going to leave those on because I don't care enough to take them off. But yeah, I hope you guys are having a fantastic night. And we can check out this interesting keyboard together as a family. So it does have a 6-degree angle. I think, yeah, so there's indicator lights over here too. So these three indicator lights, I believe they look, yeah, they're already SMD there. They're really tiny. So these are much smaller than like the SMD LEDs that we're kind of used to seeing on keyboards for switches, particularly. But those are already on there, which is kind of cool. And that'll, of course, shine through these little tiny pinholes there. So that's pretty fun. This also is supported by VIA, which is pretty cool. Or at least it will be. I don't think it technically is at the moment. But I think that's pretty fun. Looks real nice. Yeah, I agree. So let's see what's going on here. First of all, we have some stabilizers to add. This board does use 2 of them for the left and right spacebar, depending on what kind of configuration you want there. So I'll have to pull out some stabs, lube up 2 of them, put those on first, and that's where we shall begin. So I'm just going to set these aside for the time being. Holton did also send me some Nautilus caps, some GMK Nautilus, just so I'm able to cover the board, kind of show it off, type on it, because I'm not 100% sure that any of the sets that I currently have are supported with this layout. Could be, but I'm not entirely sure. He just wanted to be safe and send me something like that, so that was very nice and helpful of him. So I'm just going to go grab some stabilizers. I do believe I'm gonna actually have some over here. That's a stabilizer. Nice. Hey, look, another stabilizer. Okay, I did have some over here. Where is my super lube? Found it. Just gonna give these guys a little quick lube and throw these on. So how are all of you tonight? You guys doing good? You guys doing terrible? You guys hating keyboards right now? This won't be a particularly long stream, as this board is A, hot swap, B, doesn't contain a lot of switches, C, I'm not going to be tuning any switches, and D, I'm only using 2 stabilizers. So this is going to be a relatively quick stream, which is fine. I feel like keep it short and sweet and just kind of hang out and chill and talk to you guys. Slaving away on a radio wiring harness. Oof, sounds like fun. Except for not so much. Just bought the candy bar. Nice, Pilot. Looks like a pretty good value, if I'm being honest. Got a Doro to finish making tonight. Okay, right on. Building keyboards, always cool. Turns out, I like that. Talisman, what's up, man? Welcome. Thank you for the 1,111 bits. Is Blackpink in here? I don't think so. Is that a person? I feel like I keep hearing people say Blackpink, but I'm not entirely sure what they're talking about. You have to meet up with fam for dinner in a quick minute, Pluto? Nothing wrong with that. Dinner's important. Fam's important. The K-pop group? Is Blackpink a K-pop group? I'm not too familiar with K-pop. You have to be cool like Nathan Kim to know about K-pop. Your daughter loves them? Oh, so it is a K-pop group? I learn something new every day. Grabbing some of these screws for my screw-in and GMK stabilizers here. Hey Jax, how you doing, man? Every time I see your name, it reminds me of Jax from Mortal Kombat. And I don't mean the video game, I mean like the really bad but awesome movies. I don't know why, but that's what I think. Mainly because Jax is one of the greatest characters ever. It's about time we have a Quakem stream. Gotta represent Yankee. Yeah. It's been a while since I've done a build stream. Mainly just lack of content. I haven't really had anything to stream. I don't want to, bore you guys with kind of much more mundane tasks that I usually do for keyboards. You love the Mortal Kombat movies? I have the soundtrack CD as well. Yeah. Mr. Petrov asking, have I tried a Creamio yet? Any Zeal housing and a Novel Keys cream stem. I have not. I have not done that. I suppose I could try that. Yeah, I had to buy a car recently, so I haven't really been able to afford a lot of keyboard stuff. But sometimes I get lucky and cool people want to send me cool things to build. So many cool 40%-ish boards these days. Prime E 45 ATS. Yeah. The super compact keyboard market is starting to really grow lately. It's quite nice. Even though I'm not usually a fan of sub 60% boards, It's kind of cool to just have so many options, right? Please try a Creamio. Well, thankfully I have some creams right here. I think I have some Zelios over here. There's a Helio. I think this Helio might be slightly lubed. Feels like it. That'll be fine. I'll give that a try. I'll try it in real time, just for you. Just for you, Mr. Petrov. Real time, I'll give this a shot. Now I just gotta find some kind of device to open switches. Of which I have many, but I have no idea where any of them are right now. Oh, there's one. Real-time experiments, yeah, because that's what we do here. My build streams are very unstructured. We kind of do things on the fly. I missed a question earlier. The tree asked, how did I not know this stream existed? I don't know. I didn't post this particular one to Reddit this time. I usually cross-post to like Reddit and sometimes other places as well. But I did not do that this time. So I'm not sure. I'm not sure. But Top Clack has been around for... We're coming up on our 3rd year. We usually do a lot more than just build streams like this. This is more of like a casual thing, but that's part of what we do as well. Oh wait, so wait, what am I doing? Is it just the cream stem? Everything else is Zeal? Creamio, any Zeal housing and an NK cream stem. Okay, so we'll assume cream stem only here. So we'll take the cream stem. Grab my tweezers here. They look pretty cool. I need a Telio to compare against. One second. Oh. Let me find a Telio in my drawer that I can do a little bit more experimenting on this. So I feel like, I mean, to really test this, you have to compare it against like a Telio, right? Which is kind of like the main thing going on here. Which I know I have. It's just a matter of... Oh wait, I think Telios. Bam, here's a few of them. Sorry to kind of put this little... the Prime E on hold at the moment, but sometimes we do real-time experiments. None of this is scripted, none of this is particularly structured. Tal's been asking me, what did I finally get for transportation? So I did buy a car like a week ago. I picked up a used 2012 Honda Civic Si. And I've been liking it so far. Just gonna put some keycaps on to test for feel. Give you guys a little bit of audio too. I'm moving my mic a little bit closer so you guys can hear this. So obviously this isn't just like a little 3D printed test bed kind of thing. So on this switch I have the stock Telio, and on this switch, the hack switch there, I have the Creamio, which is the Zeal configuration with Novel Keys Cream stem. I would say they feel quite similar. Probably almost identical. The sound with the Creamio seems just a little bit deeper though. Interesting. Yeah, we'll have to look more into that. What happens when I put a Helio stem in the cream housing? Is that gonna work? Not that I particularly care too much, but yeah, look at that. It's like a creamsicle. Isn't that cute? Big surprise, it feels okay. Alright, let's set that aside and get back to the actual task at hand, what this stream is for, the Prime E. Got my stabilizers lubed up and in the PCB, so that's cool. I'm actually gonna let chat decide what switches I'm gonna use. So I'm gonna do just a little bit of straw pull. So give me 1 second, guys. How to type, please. What switches? That's not how you spell switches. Alright, so we got creams, inks. Do I have a third option? No, okay, those are gonna be the options. Alright, there's the pull. There's the straw pull, guys. Spam it a few times. Vote on what switches you want to... I'll probably wind up doing both of them eventually, whether it's on this stream or off. I am going to do some typing sounds because that was something Holton in particular asked me to do. So I'll probably try a few different switches in here, but at least for today, what are we starting with here, guys? I'll also catch up on chat here, guys. Sorry, I know I'm a little slow today. No, Petrov, I think it felt fine. It felt fine. It sounded fine. Probably good. Hybrid switches are kind of weird, right? Because it's you can often lose a lot of value by combining two switches because you have to buy two switches, right? And you know, any Zeal housing switch is not really going to be that cheap, and the creams also are not exactly a cheap switch. So it's like, is it really worth it to almost have a 100% price increase? Like, does the performance scale equally with the price, or you know, is it not worth the value? That's always kind of the answer I'm looking for. Mr. Petrov with 1,000 show love bits. Thank you very much, sir. I appreciate that, my friend. I like the show love bits. The cost of a Creamio is actually about the same as a Telio. But you need a Zeal housing, don't you? So you have to kind of buy them anyways, right? Thoughts on Nika? Hype or worth it? Asks One Creative Mind. That's a whiskey, right? It's not like a... I don't know if I've never had that. That's a whiskey, right? A Japanese whiskey, I think. Eshu 2 is asking, what are my thoughts on the KBD fans T1 switches? So I actually have the T1 switches in this board. First impressions are pretty good. I would say they're not quite as good as a Zelio V2. I think I like the Zelio V2s a little bit more. As far as like an alternative to a Holy Panda, they're definitely an alternative to a Holy Panda, but I would say they feel more like a Zelio V2 than they do a Holy Panda. Yeah, and I would say the sound is particularly true about that. Obviously, Holy Pandas are a very unique kind of hybridization, and they have a very, very unique sound tone because the stem, the pole of the slider that you're supposed to use is longer than a normal slider because the original Switch that it came from has a shorter overall travel distance than the housing that you're putting it into. So because of that, you get this extra loud, crisp clack when you bottom out, which a lot of people really like, and some people maybe not so much. I personally like it a lot, and that's mainly why I like Holy Pandas. I think they feel pretty good, but I think the sound is even more so why I like Holy Pandas. Because, you know, back when the Holy Panda was founded in like 2017 or whatever, it was a really cool Switch. It had imperfections, but it was really cool because there was nothing else on the market that could compete with it. But nowadays, you know, with Zeal's new V2 lineup of Switches, you know, with KBD fans putting out T1 Switch, there's a lot more competition. So I think Holy Pandas, while still a good Switch, are not nearly as good as they used to be, just because of what else has come out since their inception. If that makes sense. I do think the T1 Switches are good for being 55 cents each or whatever they are. I think they're definitely a good Switch, and if you're in the market for a pretty darn tactile Switch that's also pretty smooth and has that clear housing if you want, or smoky housing. I think these ones are the smoky housing ones. But I think they look good. I think they feel good. I think they sound okay. I haven't lubed mine yet. I'm kind of just breaking them in and testing them stock for a little bit. Then I'll try lubing them, and we'll see where that goes. Talisman says, call me a stick in the mud, but it seems unless you're just out to be a different Zeal's portfolio and NK's portfolio, can approximate almost anything else. Yeah, I mean, Zeal and Novel Keys both have a lot of power behind them. They both do really awesome stuff. Oh, it is a whiskey? Yeah, I haven't had it yet, unfortunately. Drinking gin at the moment. I'm just drinking water. It's a water kind of day for me. Like most days. Alright. Let's get back to this. Does this guy know Russian? I do not know Russian. I'm sorry. I don't know any languages besides English. And like random quotes in Japanese. Alright, so let's see how this works. I haven't really looked at any of this yet, so I'm not really sure how maybe it's just a prototyping thing, but I'm not really sure how the switches are supposed to stay in. So normally when you have a hot swap PCB, you have like screws that'll go into the case through the PCB. That way the PCB is held in place. So that way when you put in switches, you know, the PCB is stable. It's still connected to the board. And it looks like this prototype PCB doesn't have those. But it looks like they might be trying to, because they have holes here, 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 and here. And I'm assuming those 4 holes in particular are supposed to be to hold up the PCB while you actually install switches. So again, I will point out that this entire thing is a prototype. Group Buy hasn't even started on this yet. Still in interest check phase. You can use the specs command to bring up the interest check link for Geekhack. But I'm assuming that the final revision will have some method of holding the PCB into place. That's the hope, at least. Oh, Russian keyboard? Oh yeah, these are Cyrillic sublegends. I use them for aesthetic. I think they look very cool. I think they look very nice, but I don't speak or read Russian Cyrillic. I know sexy, that's the most important language of all. Thanks, man. Tiny board? Yeah, I mean, my large hands make this kind of like a dwarf board. But anyways, so now we've realized that we can't actually hold the PCB into place with the case without switches. Thankfully, both of my switch options are PCB mount, so that'll provide some rigidity. But in the final revision, I hope to definitely see some way of holding the PCB into the top housing without any switches. $66 viewers right now. That's not too bad for a Friday night at 7. Thanks for hanging out with me, guys. Hope you're all enjoying your night. Just like I am. So it looks like these are the screws for the case itself, so I don't need those yet. Let's see what our pull's at. Let me spam the pull a little bit more. Probably close that momentarily. Make sure you fill out this straw pull, guys. Osiris subbing at tier 1. Thank you so much, man. I don't know how to be an educated voter. Don't worry, most of us don't. Let's see who's winning right now. Holy bejesus. So, currently at 81% inks, 19% creams. So I'll leave it open for another minute or two, but I think inks are probably going to be the clear winner here. So that's what they'll be matching here. Do creams make me cream? They're pretty good, yeah. I still need to lube them. I've actually I had both of these in my M60A, and I was just breaking them in basically just to prep for lubing. Both these switches are really good, by the way. I really, really enjoy both these. I think they're two of the better switches on the market right now. Lube them? Yeah, I'm not going to lube them on stream, but eventually both of these will get lubed. Have I tried Silent Inks? I have not tried any Silent Inks yet, but I have heard that they're very similar to Helios, sorry, the Silent Linear from Zeal. Why don't I use MX Blues? It's a good question. I don't have any. Captain Schwa says, creams with 205 grade 0 make me cream. Creams are a good switch, man. Also, thanks for tuning in. Alright, so this vote seems pretty cut and dry, guys. Currently sitting at 25 total votes, 80% to inks, 20% to cream. So it looks like we are just going with inks, guys. That's what most of you want to see, apparently. CRD, cheers 1,000 bits. Thank you so much, man. That's very kind of you. Alps Blues? No, this doesn't support Alps. This is an MX only project by the looks of it. Silent Inks are same OEM as Helios. Yeah, both of them come from the Gateron factory. Alright, so in theory, the pressure from the switches should be able to hold the PCB in. That's the hope here, since there is nothing else to support the PCB. Get a few of these in for stability. Hopefully I won't have to hold it quite as much. What is better, a good keyboard switch or sex? I haven't had either. That's a really good question. You'd think the answer would be easier. Feels like a bag of sand. Oh boy. So because there is no system to mount the PCB at this stage of the prototype, it's a little bit difficult to put some of these switches in. You have to apply a lot of pressure from the back. A good keyboard will last longer than most marriages. Wow. Hopefully the audio is okay. I actually didn't test the audio a whole lot. Do I sound too quiet, guys? Is my music too loud? Probably should have asked that earlier, but I forgot. Everything sounds good? Perfect. Awesome. Thank you. So once again, shout out to Holton C for letting me check this out. Again, disclaimer, I do not get to keep this board, but I was sent it temporarily for free to check out, build on stream, do some typing sounds, and give my thoughts and impressions on the Proto. And of course, I will always be honest. And obviously my first major complaint, since I've been saying it a few times already, is that the PCB isn't mounted to the actual housing in any way, besides the switches. I'd like to see these holes get put to use, which I imagine they will in the actual run. That's probably why these holes are here. My next kind of gripe, I guess you could say, is I don't like north-facing LED orientation for the switches. I like when the switches are the other orientation. So the logo facing up instead of down. The reason being is because when you use cherry profile caps, it's much easier to accidentally tap the thicker part of the housing by the logo on some of the row profiles of cherry profile and other profiles. So it's usually better to have what's called south-facing LED orientation, where these switches are reversed. Again, prototype, I don't know what's getting changed, so we'll have to wait and see. Is there a command for webcam and mic DAC headphones? No, not yet. I should make a command for that, though. Sorry about that. These headphones are custom, actually. I got them from the Beepaha, who's local to me. And they have... I am not an audiophile. I don't use a DAC or an amp. Microphone is the pluggable mic. It's the only one that pluggable makes. It's basically like a cut-down AT2020 from Audio-Technica, same OEM. Then I have like $25 worth of stuff going on with it. Pop filter, shock mounts, boom arm, stuff like that. Nothing fancy. I don't have crazy epic setups like Nathan Kim, for example. But I need to add an equipment list under the stream. That's something I've been wanting to do. Throughout the upcoming kind of evolution that we're doing, the refresh, like pretty much all that stuff is going to get fixed and updated and added. Thank you, I will try to grow my harem of keyboards rather than my harem of women. Well. Keyboards, at least, I mean, hopefully, might not make you quite as sad, right? That's the hope. Guarantee that you use a DAC? Well, yeah, you're probably not wrong. Thoughts on the new Star Wars trailer? Oh yeah, okay, so that was released today. I did watch it earlier. It looks all right. Of course, I'm gonna see it in theaters. I love Star Wars. Even the newest trilogy, I think is fine. I mean, the new trailer looks alright. I think it could have been more hype. I don't know about like Emperor Palpatine returning. I think that is a little silly, but maybe just my opinion. What is the most expensive custom keyboard to date? Sennheiser has those $30,000 headphones. I feel our niche community has some ground to make up. The HHKB Professional HG, I think is what it's called. I'm pretty sure that's a $5,000 keyboard. I think. Don't quote me on that. Spoilers, man. It's a teaser trailer. You can't spoil teaser trailers that are already online that you can watch right now for free. Come on. Come on. The Senate cannot be denied. Man, what a meme. What a meme. I think we were all just waiting for Jar Jar to be the Sith Lord that we wanted. At least I was. Palpatine didn't die in the comics or in the old timeline either. Well, if we're comparing things to the comics, doesn't Luke become the Emperor of the Dark Side in the comics? And he, like, marries, like, Mara Jade or whatever. And they have, like, amazing Jedi or amazing Sith children. It's been a while since I've read a Star Wars book or comic. Pickle asking, as someone who just is getting into this hobby and noticed in your most recent news stream that even some boards are too pricey for your budget, I'm curious how many boards you build and keep versus build and sell. Great question, and welcome, by the way. I hope you're enjoying yourself. I mean, I could afford some boards. Like, I could afford a number 2. It'd be incredibly difficult, and I might have to, like, sell a board. I do have a collection. It's not a crazy collection. A lot of people in this community own way more boards and way more expensive boards than I do. But you know, that's just because I don't make a ton of money. So I mean, if I made more money, I'd probably keep boards more often. But I do have a collection of like 15 to 20 like pretty nice boards. And every now and then, sometimes I have to sell one, but you know, I usually have 1 or 2 on group buy just coming in, just waiting as well. So I don't know. When I was newer to the hobby, I sold almost everything. I would just buy things just to try, and I would just resell them right after. So I think it's all money, right? Money's relative, but like maybe if you make a lot more money than I do, you won't have to, you know, get rid of boards. You can keep a collection or whatever. Basically, you just do what you got to do, right? You do what you have to do based on how much you can afford, what you're able to try, stuff like that. So sometimes I can keep stuff, sometimes I pretty much have to sell stuff. It is what it is. I'm not upset about it. I've gotten to try a lot of cool things in the community regardless. Oh, you pinged Holton? I probably should have done that too. Whoops. Darth Maul, man. Darth Maul. Get that Jay money? Maybe one day. Jay's a cool guy. He works very hard. He deserves it. Is this only offered with Hot Swap? I'm not actually sure. It's a good question. That might be mentioned in the interest check. If you do the specs command, that'll pull up the link for the interest check. Darth Maul, man. Darth Maul. He's something else. We're getting closer, guys. Almost have all the switches in. Pretty sure some keyboard switches are NSFW, not safe for work. Far too sexy. This channel might get reported. Wow, that'd be interesting. According to Tyler Durden, the things you have end up owning you. One of the beauties of this hobby is that after you've gotten one or two good keyboards, you do not have to hang on to every last thing that you have purchased in order to continue to enjoy the hobby. You can just let them go and offer them to new people or friends and what have you. Yeah, absolutely. That's one of the things I like most about this hobby is like it's so easy to kind of usher other people into it. Like, you have a board, like a cheap board you don't want anymore, and, you know, maybe just give it to someone. Give it to someone that, you know, doesn't have a keyboard, doesn't have a mechanical keyboard. Maybe someone that just wants to check out what keyboards are all about, you know? care to make some more comments on the T1 switches? No Chance RPG asks. So I talked a little bit about them earlier. First impressions are pretty good. It's a pretty darn smooth switch. I think the tactility is pretty nice. It's almost comparable to a V2 Zelio. I feel like that's the switch that it competes with way more than a Holy Panda. So I think they're pretty similar. They're pretty cool. They come with that smoky housing too, which I think is pretty nice. If that's more your thing compared to the clear one. I think it's a good switch for the price. That's what I have to say on it so far. I haven't tried lubing them yet. So maybe that'll change my mind. I'm not sure. Anything could happen. Which Switch has decent springs again when making Holy Pandas? Asks Straight Classy. Which Switch has decent springs again? I use the stock spring from the Pandas. I've always found that kind of works best. I've tested with other springs as well, both lighter and heavier, and I feel like that kind of weight range, 70 or 67, 68 is the best. I felt that at about 72 grams or more, you start to lose a little bit too much of the tactility. And, you know, anything south of about 65 grams, it has trouble returning, depending on the configuration you're using. Can you use KY on keyboard switches? I'm not sure. I've never tried. It's possible, I think. I don't know, like, what is in KY, so I probably wouldn't. It's not exactly meant for that kind of preparation. But I realize you're also probably just joking. All right. Can keyboards consent to sex? Man, this stream has really taken an odd turn. I'm gonna, what is this, C? So this is USB-C, very nice. Going to test this. My USB hub has kind of been acting up lately, so I'm gonna swap my cables over just a little bit. need to figure out what the layout of this is actually supposed to be. All right. Okay, so it looks like this is an FN. This is an FN. Control Windows space. This is FN. So there's 3 FNs. Obviously I can mess around with the layout a bit. I'm just trying to see what he has on here at the moment. My enter is not working, so I might have bent that. Bent that pin. That's what I'm hoping, at least. That's the easiest solution. It's not bent, which is not exactly how I want that to go. Looks fine. Try a different switch just for the heck of it. I think it just wasn't quite in the PCB far enough. Now it's working. Okay. So yeah, I'm pretty sure I gotta look at the layout that he sent me as well. Because I think I need to make sure all the keys that aren't registering in switch hitter are actually FN keys. Okay, yeah, so that's FN. FN1, FN2, FN3, which are the only 3 keys not registering in switch hitter. Okay, cool. So it should definitely be 3 FN keys then. So it looks like we're off to a good start here. All the keys are registering. Good stuff. That's a good start, right? When things work, that's usually a pretty good start. Gotta make use of that limo. I guess I could have. I have the USB-C attachment on standby as well. I could have done that. That would have been like the cooler thing to do. I took the lame route. My apologies. You're about to become a 40 to 50% believer? Maybe I am too. Who knows? So this is the base of it. Pretty nice. I haven't really found any issues with the anodization. It looks pretty pretty clean. I don't really see any imperfection. Has a nice little cutout there for your physical button for your bootloader down there at the bottom there. Check that out. That's pretty nice. This is a thick boy. This top plate, 4.75 millimeter integrated. So this is a firmer typing experience if that's something you're more into, a la something like the M60A. All right, so we're gonna put this together in just a second. What's the slope of the case? I believe the slope is 6 degrees. Let me check on that. Yep, 6-degree incline for this one. If you use the specs command, it'll pull up the Geek Hack interest check, which has the information in it, as well as a bunch of other pictures. Kelly in chat saying, "Hello, Brian. I'm glad that your build is working, sir." Thank you very much. How did your stream go? I tried to wait a little bit extra time so you could have a little bit more time to finish, but sometimes things happen. Sir Nathan Kim in the chat. Teha types himself. Donates 100 bits. Thank you very much for that. Says, wow, it's been so long since Brian Build Stream. Welcome back. Thank you so much. It's good to be back. When I actually have content to build, it's fun. It's fun. It's a good time. But thank you very much. I look forward to your stream after this as well. I should be done within the next half hour or less, so that way you just slide right on over into your stream, which I know starts at 8 o'clock our time, last I checked. So I was planning this, trying not to interrupt anyone really. Holton saying, production PCBs are going to be matte black instead of red. Okay, good to know. Are the production PCBs going to have some type of mounting solution on them, Holton, that'll hold the PCB in place to the case without having to use the switch pressure exclusively? That's definitely something I'd like to know. Blue Alps, very old, very broken. Oh, I'm sorry to hear that, man. Poner subbing with Twitch Prime, 19 months in a row. Thank you so much, Poner. That's not planned, but those 4 holes that had to be put in the plate could be used for that, possibly. I would highly recommend it. It's a lot more enjoyable to put switches into a plate with the PCB being stabilized than it is trying to push from the back at the same time. I mean, thankfully the holes on here are pretty tight, which holds it into place pretty well, but it also makes it a nightmare to kind of put switches in. Like, my thumb is already pretty darn red from it. Just a small thing, but I think that could go over quite well, and it wouldn't really require a whole lot since the holes are kind of already in the plate anyways. Just a thought from me. Lord Sir Dr. Nathan Kim, Esquire the Third. Nice. You guys are funny. That's right, I knighted Nathan Kim. All right, let's put this together and put some caps on and start to finish this bad boy up, right? Probably help if I put it on the right way, huh? Probably also help if I did it this way. So I got the included screws here. Once again, thank you guys all for hanging out with me. Such awesome people in the chat today. Makes me miss streaming because so many cool people come out and hang out. One creative mind asking, new Mastrop Vast or new board? Decide for me, Lord Quakos, or Lord Brian. You guys and your lords, man. So if anyone not aware, the Mastrop Vast is actually a monitor that they have made for them. One of their Mastrop made products, I believe. Last I checked, the Vast has pretty good specs for the money. I mean, do you need a new monitor? How important is that to you right now? So I think, you know, for this hobby, you kind of have to have like a, you know, a functioning PCB, or not PCB, sorry, functioning PC kind of a system setup going on. You need some decent monitors that work. So I mean, if you're hurting for a new monitor, then I think the Vast is probably a much better way to go than another keyboard. I know that might sound sacrilege, but so I see 6 external screw holes, and I got 8 screws. I'm hoping that means 2 of them are extra, and I didn't miss something. That's kind of my hope here. Did I miss screwing something in on the inside? It's a hefty little board, honestly, for the size. I'll have to weigh this once I put the keycaps on it. If you remember correctly, the spacing between hot swap sockets and the base is so minimal that it may serve to hold the PCB in place while the keyboard is assembled. Oh, really? Okay. Pickle asking, anyone here use a WoW stick? Seems both superfluous and awesome. I used to own a Xiaomi WoW stick, and it was okay. It wasn't that great. I didn't have like any of like the super expensive ones. I had a pretty base model one, and it wasn't that great. But the packaging was cool. The name is cool. Like they get really playful about it because like they really do try to make it seem like it's some variation of a sex toy, right? Like that's kind of their stick with it. No pun intended. What is a WoW stick? It's an electric screwdriver set kind of thing. Okay, I need to check out this layout so I know what I'm doing here. I'm not used to boards of this size, so all of this is kind of throwing me off a little bit, but thankfully I have a visual representation of what I need on my screen right here, which is quite helpful. Okay, so that's backspace. Bear with me, guys. We'll get through this together, I promise. I'm the worst keycap putter-oner of all time. What do we got here? If you have an ES-121, the WoW stick will probably seem really underwhelming to you, because I'm pretty sure the ES-121 is notably better. This is Nautilus? Yes, this is indeed Nautilus. Naughty list. All right, so you guys almost ready for a bit of a laugh? Look, I had mentioned towards the beginning of this stream, sub 60% boards like this one are something I don't really spend a lot of time with. I'm not proficient in typing on sub 60% boards. Furthermore, I've never really put any real time into an ergonomic kind of board like this, such as the TGR Alice, ErgoDocs, this board here, or anything of that nature. So both of those things are something I am not comfortable with. So just keep that in mind when I maybe do a little bit of typing here. I'm going to make an absolute fool of myself, and I'm going to embarrass myself because I don't know how to type on this particular board. So just keep that in mind, please. Yes, these are the stock Gateron ink switches, courtesy of Novel Keys. Quakeum's disclaimer. You know I like my disclaimers, man. Your hands are not made for this board. I have pretty large hands. Alright, so I'll have to swap these because I am exclusively a left spacebar user. So I don't do right space. So I'll have to swap these around. Is this a Tokyo 40? No, this is the Prime E. Like you can see in the title of the stream. Steno typing test? Oh man. If I ever get the board, I don't know if I'll ever get the board. He said he was going to send me one, but I don't know. I don't want to bother him on it. Where's the cat wrist rest? On its way to me. I did get a shipping notification like a week ago on it, but it's coming from, I think, Vietnam. So that's a little ways away. Sometimes things can take a couple, 2, 3, maybe even 4 weeks to get to me, so we'll see. Hello, it's DNL asking, may I ask an off-topic question? I just finished the logo and wanted to fill out the form. What is TC feedback? That's just an optional section in the form, if you happen to want to give us any feedback on anything. You can leave it blank, that's totally fine. But if you wanted to say something on it, yeah, absolutely. Okay, so I need to... He did send me a specific version of VIA, that apparently works with this. So I'm gonna go ahead and try that, and hopefully that works. And that way I can swap the spacebar around and set up a little bit more of a preferential layout, so I can actually type on this without looking even stupider than I already will. So just hang tight with me for a moment, guys, while I get this. Cat wrist rest is probably still being made. Really? I got the shipping notification for it. So hopefully that's not true. Alright, I'm currently installing this version of VIA. That will presumably work with this. Looks pretty good so far. So I'm going to swap these around. I'm going to make this my space. Let's see, what else do I want to do? Do I normally use B with my left hand? I guess I do. Okay. So that's fine. I can keep this the layer 3. I think that's all I'm going to change right now, just so I can actually type on this. And I'll swap it around a little bit more after the stream so I can get a little bit more preference. I need to go through and look at all the layers and stuff and see what exactly is going on. Alright guys, so I'm gonna do a little bit of a typing demo on this, just so you guys can hear it. That'll be good. I'm gonna pause my music so you guys can hear the board itself. And I'll move the mic a bit closer as well. I'll also get out my scale so we can weigh this bad boy. These are Gateron ink switches. They are completely stock spring, no lube yet. So these are completely stock Gateron ink switches, but I think actually sound pretty okay stock already. So I'm gonna move my mic a little bit closer, guys, and we'll do a little bit of typing demo. Do note, just the same disclaimer I gave a few moments ago, I do not type on these layouts. I do not type on these sizes. I do not type on ergonomic stuff, generally speaking, so this is very new to me. If I type very, very, very ridiculously slow, that's why. But we'll see what happens here. Okay, so yeah, this is messing me up quite a bit, just because I don't type properly. I imagine someone that does have like textbook perfect typing, like properly procedure, whatever, is probably going to do a lot better on something like this than I am. But I am going to continue to use this just to try to get better at it. And then after a few days of getting more familiar and acquainted with it and getting, you know, more comfortable on this layout, I am going to release some typing videos. Definitely at least one with these stock ink switches. I might, you know, off stream at some point, I might swap to the cream switches to test those out as well. Maybe I'll even put a nice lube switch in there. I don't quite have a timeline of when I need to send it back per se, but you know, I might be able to keep it for a week or so and test some things around and see what I like and dislike and what sounds, you know, maybe better or worse. Sounds alright. I mean, stock switches, lube switches obviously are almost always going to sound better, but it feels pretty good. I like it. I like it so far. Let's check out the weight on this thing, because I know some people really care about that. Admittedly, I'm kind of one of them. So we'll go ahead and turn our scale on here. going to tell me that it's unsteady. There we go. Alright, so currently we have this at 2 pounds, 14 ounces. So just about 2 ounces shy of 3 pounds, which is pretty darn good for a board of this particular size. That's also just over 1.3 kilograms. So that's a pretty hefty board, if I do say so myself. You can definitely feel the heft. It does not feel like a light board. It is one of those situations where it seems like it's going to be lighter, but it actually turns out to be quite a bit heavier than it looks. I apologize for the dog barking outside. That is becoming a very common occurrence outside my apartment window, unfortunately. But yeah, my hands, yeah. My hands kind of dwarf this board because I'm kind of a large person, hands included. Yeah, but it's also a small keyboard. No real hurry on getting it back to me? Awesome, thank you so much. Yeah, I'm going to try a couple different switches in here, I think. So I'll try it with the inks for a day or two, then I'll try it with the creams for a day or two. Maybe I'll put something else in there. We'll try it, we'll figure it out. We'll have a good time. Alright, so let me show it off just a little bit, because it does look pretty nice too. Sorry guys, I'm trying to focus my camera just a little bit. Get a little bit closer of a look on this bad boy. Finish is pretty good. Pretty nice looking board, honestly. It looks good, it feels good. It feels very premium. The design is simple but effective. Subdued, understated, but quite nice. And I think the layout is pretty good. Even for someone like me that doesn't really use this size of board, this layout of board, this type of ergonomic kind of setup, I don't really use that stuff, so I think it's still comfortable enough to be something that I could learn fairly well in about a week or less. So I think that's kind of a drawing factor to me, because I tried working with like ortholinear as well as other subcompact layouts, and most of them just aren't for me. Like, they're really tough, but I feel like this is one I could actually adapt to. This is a little bit more friendly. You know, to the average person that is used to more 60% or larger layouts. So I do like that a lot. Alright, so we will be heading off in just a few moments, but just kind of wanted to end with a little bit of a Q&A if you guys have any questions, whether it's about this keyboard, other keyboards, other keyboard-related things, or not. Let me know. Use the @TopClack tag and I can see them a lot easier. Before I take off, I do believe Sir Nathan Kim is going to begin streaming in about 4 minutes if he hasn't already. And basically what we're going to do is, once he goes live, we're just going to raid him, basically. That's the plan, at least. Psyche asking, Fey, matchas, or creams? For me, it's going to be creams all the way. The Fey switches are kind of cool, but at the end of the day, they're just a recolored Gateron switch, a recolored Gateron linear, which is totally fine. Gateron makes some decent linears, but, you know, they've been around for many years now. They're not really that different than they used to be, so to me, it's a very boring switch. It's a cheap, effective switch, but it's kind of boring. Whereas creams are a lot more interesting, and I think they sound a lot better personally. One creative mind saying, just wanted to say the beard is looking okay today. Nice. I didn't comb it today, so it probably looks a little rougher than it normally does. I usually comb it, and so it looks a bit fluffier and a little bit more consistent. What scale is that? I don't know. I think I got it on Amazon for like probably like $15 or $20. Smart Weight is the brand. Smart Weight. So you just look on Amazon for Smart Weight kitchen scales. This model is PL11B. Should be pretty easy to find. I've had this for a couple years now. It's served me pretty well. It's good for keyboard stuff. Yep, the link to the interest check for the Prime E 45% keyboard can be found if you just type the specs command in chat like people have been doing. You can check it out there. I imagine the group buy will be coming soon once they finish all the prototyping stuff. Yeah, so this is a prototype, guys. This is not the final production unit. Do keep that in mind, please. Straight Classy asking, is that all base Nautilus besides space? I'm not sure. That would be a question for Holton, who also says, if I remember correctly, Nautilus has the 40 stuff included in the base. Yeah, this is not my Nautilus set. Holton sent this along with the Prime E, just so I could have the compatibility to check that out, since I don't actually own Nautilus. And I don't think I have other sets that have these particular space bars, or this, what I'm presuming is a 1.75 enter. That's something I know I don't think I have in any set. Looks like a good travel board. Yeah, I mean it's not exactly light. It does feel like it weighs more than what it should, based off looking at it. So it's a pretty hefty board, both in size and weight for the layout. But you know, that's kind of what I like. I like when boards look and feel premium, and often to get that, you can you know, having more material and more work done just tends to sometimes be better. The gaps on the Prime E looks like it could be improved. Yeah, I would generally agree with that. I think the top is actually pretty good. I don't think the top's too bad. I think the bottom could definitely be cleaned up a little bit. The bottom seems to have the biggest gaps. The sides are also okay. They could probably be pulled in a little bit, but they're, you know, almost as tight as the top. I would agree that, at least on the bottom, it could be pushed up a little bit, though. That's something I would like to see. A revised prototype has been ordered that closes that up a bit. Okay. It's raised a little too? Like taller? I don't think this needs to be taller, personally. This is already a little bit taller than my abnormally tall 60% rest. I personally, I wouldn't want this any taller than it is, but that could just be me. In fact, I'd like it just a smidge shorter, but obviously that's personal preference. I'm not necessarily the target audience for this product anyways. But if I could change it, I would raise the front down just a little bit. And that would raise the angle. I'd keep the back the same. I'd raise the front down a little bit and just have the angle be more like 7, somewhere between like 7 and 8. That's what I would do. I like just a little bit more angle and a little bit shorter front. This is totally workable. I mean, we're splitting hairs here. This is kind of just personal preference. Like old times, Talisman. That's right. I like build streaming. It's definitely fun. I just need... I'm waiting on so many group buys to come in, and they, like, all of them just keep getting delayed. I should have one coming pretty darn soon. Pilot XJ donates 200 bits and says, thanks for the stream, dude. Very enjoyable. Thank you so much, man. Glad you guys are you're enjoying it. Definitely look forward to more. Make sure you follow the channel. We have our main show, our main Top Clack news show, every week, Thursday, 6 p.m. Pacific time. My co-host, Jay, my Top Clack partner, I guess you could say, does a build stream similar to this kind of setup every Sunday at 12 p.m. Pacific time. And then I try to spread out and do some when I can. And I also have a new series that'll be starting on Top Clack, a weekly stream. So we'll be hitting the 3 stream a week goal. We're gonna be pushing for the Twitch partner very soon. Mr. Petrov asking, do any US-based vendors have GMK screw-in stabs in stock? Does Novelties? Or Novel Keys? I think they usually have them in stock. Whole tank heading out. Thank you so much for providing the review sample. I've definitely been enjoying it. The build was quite nice. And I'm excited to use this for a few days and try out some different configurations. I'll be putting up some typing tests of this configuration and probably a couple others as well. So look forward to that if that's something you guys are into. Novel Keys out of stock. That's unfortunate. Alright guys, so we're gonna wrap this up. We're actually gonna head over to Nathan Kim. Oh, it's not plugged in. We're gonna head over to Nathan Kim's stream. We're just gonna raid him real quick. Say hot types. And what we're gonna do is once we get there, we're gonna compliment him. Last time we told him he has amazing hair. Now we're gonna compliment his glasses. That's what we're gonna do today, guys. So let's go talk about his glasses. Let's go compliment Nathan Kim, because he's a really cool dude. All right, guys, let's get it.
See if I can fix my... What was that noise? Hold on.